Welcome to Therapy Thursday, and today we're cleaning therapy plus along with talking therapy, childhood trauma, and things like that. And I hope that maybe I can help somebody to maybe feel a little less alone. And my life is definitely not Instagram life, and my house is not Instagram life. I'm just a normal person. But hey, if you're into that kind of thing, come join me for today's video. So first off, I am going to pick up around my bedroom. That's where we're starting today. And I will be moving my bedroom around. I feel like it turned out beautifully, and I will vacuum and then vacuum again at the end, and then I will move into my bathroom and clean in there. But everything is pretty self-explanatory. You can just follow along. And now I will talk about the therapy that I was wanting to talk about. So in today's video, I'm wanting to talk about, the typical, my house isn't a typical Instagram looking house. My life is not a typical Instagram life. So yeah, I am not the typical, I don't know, mom maybe. I struggle with a lot of things that I feel like a lot of people really struggle with, but not everybody wants to admit or talk about the hard things in life. But hey, I do. I feel like it's therapy. It's helpful. Cleaning is therapy, and it is helpful. It makes you feel like it puts your life back together when things are clean and organized. And let me tell you, the kids definitely know how to destroy a house, and I have to clean up after them all the time. Sorry about my toddler yelling in the background. She wanted my attention, but I'm a mom, so I've got 4 kids, and then 3 of them are at school, and then one of them is still at home. She's 2, and so I am just having to stop and take breaks and tend to her and things like that. So bear with me if you hear her in the background. I still am a mom, and that still comes first. But I just wanted to come on here and maybe talk about some therapy, because I feel like it's helpful to understand oneself and to understand how you got the way you are and why you are the way you are. It's important to understand yourself fully and to recognize triggers and things like that that may come up from your childhood. And believe you me, when you have children, triggers come up. You would not believe the triggers that come up, but just kids yelling and screaming, it is triggering for somebody who grew up in violence and fear and things like that, and had to completely be a good child and never make noise or do anything to draw attention to myself and pretend to be the perfect child. So with all that said, triggers from motherhood, it definitely kicks in, and I feel guilty afterwards, and I usually apologize afterwards with my children if I get triggered and possibly... Oh, what's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter? Oh my goodness, poor baby. Oh, I know. Sorry about that, but as I was saying, when you get triggered, you possibly will feel overwhelmed and possibly yell and things like that, and I feel horribly guilty because I do not want yelling to be a part of our home life or anything like that. But yeah, it's definitely triggering. It feels like somebody, like you're about to be in trouble and things like that. It is just crazy. And then the things that you grow up with do help define how you're going to be as an adult, and a parent as well. And so, like, you have to really unlearn everything that you learn as a child when it's an unhealthy environment. And it is extremely exhausting, and you don't even realize everything that is so unhealthy. But it's a learning process for me. But I know I'm probably talking your ear off right now, and I'm afraid that you might get too bored of it. So I might take a break, and then we'll continue on with triggers and possibly a quote that I really like that feels like it has always been helpful to me once I heard it. And it's an important quote to me. So, and it has to do with trauma and things like that. So let me take a break, and you can just watch some cleaning for a second. It is helpful as well. Cleaning makes you feel like, I don't know, it feels like a new person when you're done, and you've refreshed a space.
Everyone has been telling me that you got me hooked. You're playing it big time. You're feeding me lies. Everyone has been bugging me to sever the ties. But I would never, ever, ever would have believed them. No reason. Sometimes the truth is hard to see. But now the never, ever, ever seemed to be over. I saw her, so I'm happy I got freed. Lucky, lucky, lucky me. Lucky, lucky, lucky me. I won, got it done. Lucky, lucky, lucky me. Lucky, lucky, lucky. I won't let the door hit when I leave. Should've known by your rap sheet that you weren't nice, but now I am telling you I'm going to smile. But I would never, ever, ever would have believed them. No reason. Sometimes the truth is hard to see. But now the never, ever, ever seemed to be over. I saw her, so I'm happy I got freed. Lucky, lucky, lucky me. Lucky, lucky, lucky me. I won, got it done. Lucky, lucky, lucky me. Lucky, lucky, lucky. I won't let the door hit when I leave. I guess that I was born beneath a very lucky star, and in a week or two I won't remember who you are. Man down, he ran out of luck, and now it's my time. Ain't no looking back, I'm on the right track.
So I want to start with the quote because it's an important quote to me, and I think once I heard it, it just clicked in my brain. You ever heard something that just was like so profound and it clicked with you? I think it was the very first one, and it was important to me. So here's the quote. I think it was on a movie that I heard it. So don't ask me the movie. I just remember hearing it, and the quote goes like this. The quote goes like this: you choose the love you think you deserve. And when you have had trauma, this quote comes very in handy because you don't think you deserve much of anything. And I feel like that sets a lot of people up for really bad relationships. And you feel worthless, like you're just not worth anything. You feel bad, not a good person. You feel fat, you feel ugly, you feel just like unlovable. And that's the way I've always felt. And once I heard that quote, I've never really truly felt loved by anybody in my life. So, and that is definitely a me thing, because I'm out learning that, because you have to learn how to love yourself. And once you learn how to love yourself, then you can learn how to love others, and you can accept love from others. And that quote goes with that for me, because you choose the love you think you deserve. And that can be in partners, that can be in relationships, that can be with so many things, friendships, children. You choose the love you think you deserve. And to me, this hit home, because growing up, I didn't think I deserved, at all. So I almost was setting myself up for a disastrous relationship, a disastrous friendships, anything and everything of those sorts. So I am so glad, because I heard this quote pretty early on, and it hit home when I was a teenager, right about the time I started dating. And excuse me, I have a cold or something. I've always got a cold. But yeah, this quote hit home, and it is important, because you have to learn to love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you will choose what you think you deserve. And you may think you deserve someone to treat you horribly, or, and to treat you awfully, or to yell and scream at you all the time, or to be in a really unhealthy relationship where there's fighting and violence, or whatever have you, or you don't think you deserve anything at all. So I really took to that, and I am so glad that I heard that at an early age, and I realized and understood what it meant. And I have been working on myself, feels like my entire life, and trying to learn how to love myself, and that is extremely difficult when you have felt like nobody has ever loved you, and so you feel like there's something wrong with you. And so I've asked myself that all the time. Is there something wrong with me? Am I unlovable? Things like that. And the thing is you have to learn to love yourself first before you can even expect others to love you. So, yeah, I felt like that quote was helpful, and I'm hopeful that it's helpful to someone else out there. I'm sure there's probably people out there in similar situations, and I hope this video reaches them, because that was a lifesaver for me and in my life. And you have to do the work on yourself, or you'll end up repeating the family cycles of violence and abuse and things like that. So please do your self-work, so that you don't repeat those behaviors onto your children, because those children that you bring into the world are the most important thing in the world, and you have to do the work on yourself, and in order to have a happy, healthy life. And are we perfect? By no means. We are not perfect. We are still working on us. We're still working on a marriage. We're still working on being perfect or good parents. No perfect parent. We're not perfect at all. We struggle, and we always try, whenever we do something that we regret, like yelling at the children, and we don't spank. So that is something we don't allow in our home, is we don't do spankings. We just don't do it. We never have. We've threatened it before, but we don't do it, and our kids know it. And that may or may not be a mistake, our children. But for me and the way we grew up, it is important for me not to have physical violence, or for my children to be scared of me, because I don't know, I don't feel like that. I know it's such a controversial topic right now, with a lot of families, and a lot of people are like, that kid is spoiled, you don't spank them. And we've had that. We've had people say that. And we understand where they're coming from, and possibly, maybe our children are spoiled, maybe, and we don't do discipline very well, and we are probably raising self-centered children. I don't know, but this is what feels right for us right now, and we use other ways of trying to discipline our children, which is like taking their phone away and taking their computers away, timeouts, which I've never been great at timeouts either. I do like the talking therapy thing. I talk to my kids when they're bad or something like that. But this blanket was dirty, so I ended up having to put on a different blanket on our bed. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I feel like I'm talking your ear off, so let's take a break and then I will continue with some more therapy and I will explain.
No.
Stop it.
No. I love you.
Lana's sitting here with me with this voiceover.
You say hi? You say hi? Hi.
It's okay. We're going to take a break.
Thinking about the way that you know me. No one ever cared like you care for me. You're such a bright star in the dark space. Babe, it never worked out with the others. All we ever did was fight, and at one point I would never thought that I would meet someone like you. This time it's all different. You got every little string on me. The way you make me feel is crazy. How did you get so fly? You got me like my, my, my. You got me like my, my, my. You got me like there's no other than you now, babe. Nah, 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 'cause you got me like my, my, my. Like oh my God, don't let anyone hold you down just because you are shining way more than the other could. Oh, oh. And the best part is that you're still so humble about it. 'Cause you know it's important. This time it's all different. You got every little string on me. The way you make me feel is crazy. How did you get so fly? You got me like my, my, my. You got me like my, my, my. You got me like there's no other than you now, babe. Nah, 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 'cause you got me like my, my, my. Like oh my God, this time it's all different.
I know. My bathroom is a mess. I was just throwing all the toys into the tub and just throwing all the dirty clothes out. And then Lana had gotten into these toilet cleaner stuff. It was all clean. I always clean them after. But yeah, she was playing with it. She got under the cabinet and drug out everything under the cabinet as well. And I had picked some of that up the other day. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm back to things that I was talking about. So I hope that things that I say helps somebody in some sort of way. And even if it's just to let you know, hey, you're not alone. Hey, everybody's life's not perfect and Instagram worthy. Not everybody grew up with this white picket fence. And some of us really had trauma growing up and things like that. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory of my life. I'm not going to, like, as I said in the last video, I'm not going to name names or anything like that for the people that I still have in my life for their reasons, because I still talk to my sibling and I love her and I really don't want to out anybody that may know her or us or our lives or anything like that. I don't talk with my stepfather anymore. I cut him out of my life and it was a good decision for me. And it's helped me grow so much without having that feeling of like I'm going to be in trouble all the time, or that I have to be the perfect daughter for him to keep him from getting mad, or to keep him satisfied, and to keep his ego going. It's not even, I didn't even talk to him that much, and I would do that on purpose. And these things are always difficult to talk about, but when he was in my life, it was difficult. It was difficult because how can you heal from wounds with being in that same environment sometimes? So, and understanding the wounds that were there as well, when you're still trying to pretend to be that perfect daughter or that perfect whatever in that life to suit them and their ego and their narcissism. And I had went over this in the last video, that he is not diagnosed that I know of as a narcissist. That is just something, and I know that word is thrown around a lot, but if you look up the definitions and you do a checklist, he meets every single one of those checklists. So, in my opinion, this is only my opinion. I know not everybody knows my entire situation, so you are only hearing my side of the story, and everybody has their own side, but this is my side of the story, and this is just the daughter and what I grew up with, and the things that I feel like it takes a lot to want to cut a parent out. He was my stepdad, but he was my parent, and I feel like it takes a lot to really cut somebody out of your life and not want to have them in your life at all. So, with that being said, I don't see him anymore, so I'm not worried about him, but I do talk to my sibling, and I don't want anything that came up in our life to affect her in any kind of way. But anyway, I'm going to go with my backstory. I know I've been talking a lot, and I hope you don't get too tired of it, but the backstory is, it was my mom, my stepdad, and my sister, and I, and that was our entire family for a long time, for many years. And of course, we grew up with violence and being scared of them and narcissism and things like that. So I will get more into those things later on, maybe in future videos, but for now we're just going to do the backstory. So the backstory is, we did end up leaving him at a certain age, and then that was not even the fix of it. So that the trauma of the abuse from the narcissist was very prevalent, and we still had him in our life for all the way until I took the decision to remove him from my life. And that was a hard decision, but that is what I decided as I got to an adult. But growing up, so we did leave him. So let me set the mode. We left him. She left him several times, but it never worked out because she was a mom with 2 children and hard to function, hard to make it, and he definitely didn't make it easy. And if you've ever left a narcissist, then you know how difficult that process can be, along with trying to make it with 2 children. But the time that she actually left and we stayed gone, we went to a shelter. So we lived in a women's shelter for a while, and then they allowed her to live next door to it and work from there and things like that. So that was our escape, and that was how we got out from that. And for a woman to leave in the middle of or whenever they leave for work, and him to come home from work with wife and children gone and bags packed, I'm sure that wasn't fun for him, but that was the only way she felt like she could leave without one of them or us all dying. So that was what she had to do. So it was not a fun situation for anybody involved. I'm sure no marriage is just one-sided, but it definitely is hard to work within a marriage when there's a narcissist in there and they're very self-serving and can't see wrong with their doings and things like that. So we left, and we got into the women's shelter, so we lived in a shelter for a long time. And then from there, we just lived very chaotic, unstable lives because she was a single mom trying to make it and things like that. So, and she was dealing with her own problems as well. And trying to recover and heal from things has never been easy for her, even to this day, even though we've been away for a long, long time. So that, with all of that being said, it was difficult. So we moved from place to place after we had left the women's shelter. So there was no stability in knowing where we were going to live, if we were going to have electricity, or if we were going to have water, or if we were going to have all of these things that are essentials for children to grow and to prosper. Along with here's my story. So be nice in the comments. Don't leave any hateful comments or anything like this, but please be nice and be considerate of the people involved. But I was not schooled properly. I missed a lot of school because the depression had taken over so much and things like that. So I didn't have a school life. I didn't have a stable home life. I had nothing that was, reliable or anything of those sorts, or anything that I could go to and turn to as a child for comfort. And there was nothing stable. So I think with all the chaos growing up, that is why I clean like I do. It is a comforting thing for me to be able to fix something or to make something feel clean or good or nice again. And it is a controlling thing because I didn't have any control as a child. And some of the things that came out from that was I hate moving. We have lived in one mobile home for 6 years. Then we outgrew that. Then we moved to this mobile home, and we have lived here for 4 years. I don't even know. But I hate moving. I hate moving. I hate change. I don't take to change well. So some of those things have come from the chaos and the never knowing where we were going to live, what we were going to do, how we were going to eat, if we were going to have electricity. So luckily, my kids have never known any of these hardships, and my husband has done the best we could do to make sure our children don't know these hardships. But it is very difficult when you are still so triggered by all of your upbringing and your children don't know none of this. Your children don't know those hardships. But yeah, the backstory is we left when I was decently young. I think I was 5, 6. I can't remember the exact age. And then we lived in a women's shelter for abused women for a while. And then once we left there, we just kind of floated from place to place. We moved constantly. I don't think we ever were in a home for longer than a year. Until I became old enough and my husband and I got married and got together, then stability set in for me. And that was the first stability I have ever had. And having somebody that you feel like you could rely on, it was different. It hit different. And it helped me to grow and to love myself and to be able to heal. Because you can't heal in those same environments. You just can't. I couldn't heal being in the environment with my mother and having the instability from the never knowing how things were going to go. But now that I am healing and I am 32 with 4 kids and a husband, I feel like I have done more healing in my 30s than I have ever done in my life. So it has been interesting, but I've also learned a lot of new things about myself. So I'm going to take a break. I feel like we're almost done with the video. We're at the end. So the rest of the video will continue to next video. But anyway, we're done. We are done mopped and we're showing the after shots of the clean bathroom. And I love you guys and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
I leave.